the stronger the yearning, the more there is impulse to go out. There's an impulse to go out somewhere, so the yearning will have to be relinquished. And one day you will sit down and say, this is enough. I have found the present moment, finally. It's the same journey that a young person wants to travel everywhere. And when you get older and wiser, you sit down in your own seat, in your own couch, and you say, I don't need to go anywhere else. I'm totally fine where I am. But it requires a great honesty, self-honesty. Because you do have to burn out these desires. Because you do have to see more truth. You do have to burn out everything. The positive yearning and the, we could say, negative or low vibrational laziness. The desire and the non-desire, not wanting. Some of you have wanting, some of you have not wanting. I don't want my mind. I don't want these thoughts. I don't want to be disturbed. Some of you will say, I already have too much. I have too many thoughts. I have too many emotions. You will realize how abundant you are already. You have too much. And when you sit down and when you inquire what is actually here, there is desire for more, there is desire for less, then you are much closer to yourself than you actually think. And you continue looking at this present moment with awareness. You continue investigating what arises in this present moment. A certain feeling comes in and it says, maybe one day. This is hope visiting you right now. Perhaps another feeling comes in and says, I will never reach it. Some kind of pessimistic thought arises, pessimistic energy, disbelief, ignorance. So all kinds of feelings come in and they speak their stories. And if you deeply listen, if you deeply, closely observe, there is nowhere else you need to go. To realize that it is all already here. It is very abundant already. These feelings, emotions, and energies are great gifts. And only if you are not listening to them, if you are trying to block, deny, protect, get rid of these feelings, emotions, and energies, you're creating more distance in the present moment between what is already here, what is actually here. So this is why we need to slow down, to listen deeper, to observe closer. What is actually here? What feeling is here? Emotion, energy. This is the most important first step to come back here. Otherwise, you're on the surface. You're playing with the waves. You could picture your thoughts as little waves on the surface. They have no essence in themselves. Thoughts are little bubbles. There's no truth in thoughts. There's no essence in thoughts. But feelings, emotions, energies are very real. They're very here. They're even, we could say, tangible, felt, experienced. And when you come into this perfect equilibrium with your feelings, emotions, and energies, suddenly the space opens. It's all open. It's all now. And that's all there is. Unless you aimed to meet Shiva on the mountain, unless you aimed for some imaginary goal, then of course you will ignore the present moment and you continue your journey, continue the search. So value the present moment. Understand fully, absolutely, how important this present moment is. And not only here in the satsang. The real satsang happens when you come out of here, when you continue your life. Because here you learn, you discover something more, deeper, closer. But when you go out, that's the practice, that's life. That's where the hard work is. So coming into alignment with your emotions, feelings, energies is the first step. And when these waves are settled, there is an equilibrium and everything becomes peaceful, open, boundless. then you realize there's nothing missing. The space is open. If you want to investigate it, you will see it's infinite, it's boundless. And further, you can clarify that space of equilibrium. And that is the process of integrating consciousness. When you're in that space of equilibrium, then you further clarify, integrate. You strengthen staying. Because the waves can disturb you. They can come, yes, it happens to everyone. Sometimes I call it the spiritual weather. Your thoughts, emotions, feelings, and energies. The spiritual weather. But when you slow down and come into that stillness, equilibrium, in the right alignment with every feeling, emotion, and energy, everything is open. You further realize it's not only open and peaceful. It comes at first as inner peace. Then you realize it's an infinite space actually. Then you realize it's actually boundless. Because only energy binds your experience. Energy focus binds your experience. You will also realize it's not only boundless, but it's very bright too, because before it seemed to be a bit empty, but it's not empty actually, because everything is in it. So it's full as well. Empty and full become also dualistic perceptions. You go beyond the empty and full. It is infinite, boundless. You come to realize that it's not even black, the space. It is actually very bright because your awareness is aware. So it becomes very bright, boundless space. And you start feeling more and more warmth emanating from this bright, boundless awareness. There's more and more warmth. The sun gets brighter. It starts burning these energies quicker and faster. As you stabilize more, it becomes so bright that it becomes blissful. For some, it becomes so soft that it becomes so loving. It may become so still that it becomes totally, absolutely peaceful. And that only depends on your stabilization of staying in that equilibrium, of polishing, deepening. So this is how consciousness becomes stabilized. And the weather of thoughts, emotions, feelings, and energies, they polish. They polish. first, of course, there are like a stormy ocean, it just slams you into the other shore. That's fine. You pick up your pieces, you continue your practice. You come back into this equilibrium one more time. Another wave. You're gone again. Again, you pick up your pieces. You come back to the equilibrium of now, of the present moment. And all these waves of desires, illusions, imaginations, expectations, this is your inner ocean. Your inner ocean. Slamming you left and right and up and down and roller coaster and all. Certainly it's exciting. Certainly every one of you has experienced the roller coaster, the stormy ocean, the spiritual weather. But you need to know that no matter how many times you get blown away, the sun is always shining above those clouds. And here we even know where is that sun. We even say it's not up there, it's actually right here in the heart on the right. Actually, that is the channel of consciousness, the Nrita Nadi. It's right at the heart of the right, the seat of consciousness. You know it. It's no longer a mystery how consciousness shines through this form. So you have to become a weatherman. You have to start to take care of this weather, of these storms and oceans in the ocean. And knowing exactly where consciousness shines through, the heart on the right, the inner sun, you will get more and more sunny days. It will become brighter and warmer. At first it requires perhaps some faith, we may say so, but now it is known, experienced, that that's where the seat of consciousness is. It's been spoken in many scriptures, and Ramana has been telling this for many decades. The heart on the right. So first you need to find this truth, to know how it actually is. And then you have to take care of your storms, of your weather, of your inner ocean. And this is what is called transcendence. That the storms are big, of course, we know that. But these storms start becoming a bit more friendly. You grow, mature within your inner storms, in your inner weather. You become quite a good sailor, a good navigator in your inner ocean. You start to know the stars, the alignments. You know that tomorrow the sun will come, that the night is not forever. When you learn certain practices, you get a GPS in your hand. Then you have a GPS to your inner sun right here. The storms are in front, the inner sun is there. All these practices that you learn in these meetings, retreats, and satsangs are the GPS. And perhaps more comfortable journey. You become equipped, more experienced, more matured with your inner storms, with your inner ocean. And enlightenment cannot happen if you are still not in control of your inner ocean. Enlightenment will be just an experience, a little glimpse. But that's the good news, actually. Because there is a certain responsibility that you have, each and one of you. It is called a merit, we could say, because maybe some of you have been advancing in your previous incarnations. This is how enlightenment becomes more sudden, more faster. But in reality, there is no faster because you have done the job in the past lives. You know, it comes for a reason. So, one way or another, you still have to do this job. You still have to take care of your inner ocean. Because this is how the universe is functioning. You have to become absolutely familiar with your emotions, with your inner self, your energies, what is passing through you. But I don't want you to become only the weatherman, only the storm carer. The transformation happens with the further inquiry when you are in that equilibrium. You shouldn't sit and expect for the next wave to come. You manage the storm, so don't sit with expectation that now, okay, when is the next wave, by the way? So you should further inquire into that equilibrium. You should inquire, what is that peaceful space, first of all, that commonly everybody experiences when you go to sleep, when you're tired. It's peaceful. This is the very first meeting with your inner self. And every human being experiences that moment of equilibrium mostly while they go to sleep. When one learns to meditate, they can come back to that inner equilibrium much easier. They don't have to wait for going to sleep. They don't have to arrange their schedule to go to the beach and catch that perfect sunset moment when it's absolutely still, external management. Meditation is a tool of management, internal management. You realize that meditation is a tool to achieve that equilibrium. That's the first step, the first very basic purpose of meditation. But then there comes inquiry. What is that peaceful space? Become more familiar with that peaceful space. Become more familiar with this equilibrium. Become more familiar with this undefined being. Become more familiar that it is infinite. Become more familiar that it is boundless. Become more familiar that it is bright. And actually always, always, always here. The only reason why one does not experience enlightenment is because the inner ocean, the inner weather is clouding it. It's the only reason why everybody's not enlightened yet. Not because you don't have it. No, because you have many clouds in front of it. Because you're focused on the weather and you don't know how to manage this weather. Because your focus is on the weather, on emotion, on thought, on feeling. Because you don't know that that's a cloud, that's a weather, that's a wave, that's a current. So since you focus on the weather, then that's what you know. That becomes your experience. It becomes so familiar that it's even taken for granted by majority. That they live in permanent weather, permanently somewhere, floating around, being tossed left and right, up and down. So this is the only reason why everybody is not enlightened yet. There is no other reason as such. So remember, it's just the weather. So let's take a few moments to inquire, to stay with yourself, to stay with your inner self, your inner ocean. To take a few moments to slow down. And slowly the weather is clearing. Everything is settling. And you are closer home. When you're ready, you can slowly start coming back. Remember the inner sun. Very well, very well. How calm and beautiful and bright it is. will come to realize that every human being has the same difficulties with the inner weather, with their inner ocean. It is all the same emotions. It is all the same feelings. See, you simply experience it in unique situations. But you experience the same feelings, the same sadness, the same anger, the same frustration, the same joy, the same happiness, the same peace. It is only these unique situations which bring up those feelings. So it is the unity of human beings to experience these feelings, emotions, energies. When I speak of energies, actually emotions are emotions, energy in motion. So essentially, they're all the same. It is only unique circumstance, unique trigger, and of course, your unique reaction. And furthermore, the stories in the mind have very little essence. The stories are only speaking of situations. The stories are only reflecting on the situations, putting in memory the prevention mechanisms. Isn't it what your mind does when you experience some challenge? You reflect on situation, you will say, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to prevent the same situation from happening like this, like this, like that. But the essence is in the actual emotion that was being there, that was arisen, that has been triggered, that has been experienced. So as human beings, we realize that it's all the same emotions, only the different circumstances. And that's where we can recognize the unity of the human experience. Not even human experience, even your pets, your dog, for example, experiences joy and sadness in a very similar way. You know, different life forms have different capacity to experience the same energies. Maybe a little ant does not have emotional expression, but your dog certainly has emotional expression. Your cat as well. So these are all the same energies, all the same emotions and feelings arising. And that is the good news, that you don't have to manage, you don't have to learn every single possible situation, because there will be 1 million and billion differences in the future of situations. It's impossible to learn situations. But to learn emotions, to learn feelings, energies, the right alignment, that is a lot easier than to dedicate countless hours of contemplations about situations. And nobody has ever figured them out because it's impossible. So none of the philosophers have figured it out because it is impossible to figure out situations. But emotions, feelings, and energies, that's what you can surely do. And as you go deeper into that equilibrium state, it is yet again the same. Same peace, same space, same brightness, same boundlessness, same infinity. That's what you can do. That's attainable. That's manageable. That's achievable because that's how it is. So put your effort in the right place. And little bit by little bit, small steps in the right direction create tremendous results, tremendous changes. Many small steps in the right direction will create a tremendous change. Big steps in the wrong direction will lead you still nowhere.